Comedy's a path, a journey. It's not, you're never there.
Right.
Nobody arrives in comedy.
Mm-hmm. You're always working.
And for many people, comedy isn't the end result. I mean, comedy is the path to somewhere else for a lot of folks. Like, I don't like that Spin Doctors song. I hate the Spin Doctors. I've always hated the Spin Doctors group from the 90s. Right. You can't get away from that shit. Every fucking radio, Warm 106.9 plays that shit. You can't get away from the goddamn Spin Doctors. You don't hear me bitching.
Right.
Whatever. I just changed the station to something else.
Exactly.
No, exactly. At all.
Two Princes, my ass. Get the fuck out of here. Funny over everything.
There you go.
Because that is the core belief of our comedy club. Funny over everything. Funny matters more than anything else about you as a comedian.
Right.
Funny is the most important thing. And when it comes to telling people what they should or shouldn't do, funny over everything.
Like, oh, not again.
Okay, today with us we have Rick Taylor. I honestly, when I approached you at the Club Comedy Seattle, it was because you were funny as hell.
Oh, thank you so much.
When I met you at Trenton's show and you featured for him, and my goal was just to get you on the show because you were funny. I had no idea that you actually own the club.
I own the club and run the club and book the club and market the club. And So
that was just a pleasant surprise, a bonus. So I'm super excited for this one.
Cool.
Yes.
Very, very, very grateful that you were willing to come on the show. Thank you so much. So what kind of, just to jump into it, what made you decide that you wanted to own a comedy club? At what point did you get there?
I mean, first off, I'm a comedian, so you
so
already
that came first.
You already know that I make bad decisions, right? Like, so when I first started doing comedy, I have a long background in radio, actually, and events and marketing. So when I first started doing it, about a year in, my husband and I ended up taking over a room in Seattle at a restaurant called Jai Thai, which became this kind of big, huge, see, you've heard of it. So it was kind of Seattle's big amateur room at the time. Okay. And we kind of built it into Seattle's big amateur room, and we like doing it. I like that part of it, the like curation of the show and working with I like working with the comics. I didn't start doing comedy until I was in my 40s.
Okay.
So I had a long career in radio before that. Radio is a very difficult business to be in, to stay in, to maintain a career in. And you do that by working with mentors. You have to have mentors in radio. Radio is one of those, who you know, how you get forward, the people who guide you and help you. So I have a good background in people doing that for me. Nice. And so part of this for me is definitely being able to return some of that to the other artists that I work with, which is I do mentor them and get to work with them. And we do, being the kind of the small independent comedy club in Seattle, I think we probably do the most work like with the local community and helping to develop like the newer people. And I really like that aspect of it. The rest of it is, but running a small business in Seattle is difficult.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But the reward is I get to work with great artists on their way up. There's probably some big comedians you've heard of, like one of the guys who started at Jai Thai is a guy named Bo Johnson, who's out. He's huge now. He's huge online. He's out touring all the time nationally, and he's getting to be quite a big deal. Yeah. So he started in one of my rooms, and I take zero credit for Bo's work. It's Bo's work. Yeah. Bo's the funny one who does the work. And I mean, every aspect of the work, not just the funny, but the marketing and all of it. So, but yeah, it's fun to be that launching pad for people and do that part of it. So that's why we have the club.
Okay.
So a lot of it's difficult, but the reward is really great.
Well, I mean, comedians need platforms.
Yes.
You got to be able to present yourself and show your craft somewhere. So they need you guys as much as you need them. So
absolutely. I mean, that's the thing I say about comedians is, we have a comedian named Olia that we work with, and Olia is from Russia. Okay. And she'll often say to me, she's like, the way comedians talk to you, I can't believe you haven't stabbed one of them. Oh. And I'm like, well, the thing about comedians is that one, I'm a comedian. So I in a lot of ways, they're quirky and weird and broken and different than I think most people who don't get up and tell jokes in front of other people. Yeah. So I think I have a good understanding for that. They're artists. Right. And, as long as they can act professionally, I can get along with them. And if they can't, listen, there's 1,000 of them. Mm-hmm. I don't need any single one of them to come and work with me. I mean, I would like all of them to come and work with me, but if they can be professional about it, you know. So I don't know. I mean, I like the comedians. I get along with them fine. And if they, you know, they can either do the job or they can't. And,
right.
And I'm not trying to change the world as a comedy club owner who's a comedian. You know, I think a lot of comedians will try to open a comedy club or run a space because they want to, I'm going to change the industry. I'm going to do all the things that I didn't like. Change all the things that I didn't like when I was coming up or I was working and that just isn't a possibility. I mean, you can change some of those things, you know, but not the main thing for our club is we treat the comedians well, and we try to have a good vibe with them because that tends to lead us to provide a good vibe and a good experience for the people who come and see shows there. When you come into Club Comedy Seattle, we get along with the comics. We like them, we cherish them, we appreciate them.
Yeah.
And
it was a good variety that when I came, that was a good variety of comedians, very different jokes. None of them were repetitive because sometimes you can get that at a show where a lot of them are very similar in the types of jokes they're telling, but it was very good variety that night.
I mean, we try hard to do that just because, not because it's, you know, because the thing about Seattle is you kind of want to represent wherever you are.
Right.
And, you know, Seattle's kind of not very diverse. But the audience that comes to us doesn't just come from Seattle. They come from everywhere around the area. We're a destination business.
Right.
And so we try to put as many voices on our stage in a show that are different as we can, because for the audience, we want them to be able to see somebody they can relate to.
Yeah.
Like somebody they can go home the next day and go, hey, remember that joke so-and-so told about that? That's just like me, or that's just like my mom, or that's what gets people to come back and see us again and get to know some of the local comedians and get to know some of the national comedians that we work with, because they come and they get to enjoy themselves and they see someone that they relate to directly. Right. And that's the most important thing about having diversity, is just help being there for the audience, because we want the audience to feel like they belong. Like somebody, they got to see somebody that they really clicked with.
Right.
So we try to do that for all of our shows.
That's cool.
That's awesome. Cool. So for the most part, the comedians are easy to work with as far as you're concerned, while other people from the outside looking in.
I mean, I wouldn't refer to them as easy to work with. I mean, the thing is that our room is a meritocracy. So if you're funny, you move up, and if you're not, you don't, and you're allowed to keep working on it. And there's no everybody is on their own path.
Right.
I mean, one thing about stand-up comedy in general is it is definitely an individual sport.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a team sport.
Right.
Yes.
It's not what I tell comedians is all of us who are in this community, there is a finite amount of stage time available, and we are all vying for that finite amount of stage time, no matter who we are.
Right.
Yep.
So this is not a team sport. We are not playing together. Not that we can't be supportive of one another, and not that we can't work with our peers, but this is not a team sport. It's individual. And so everybody has to make their way in this, and everybody's path is different. There isn't like a school you go to or a way I could sit down and tell you, hey, this is how you become a comedian and this is how everybody develops differently. And our world is ever changing. I mean, one of the biggest elements of comedy today is social media. Yeah. You know, I mean, it's one of the reasons when somebody asks me to come do a cool podcast that I come and do it, because it's good for people to hear that our business isn't always what it was. Yeah. You know, it used to be you went out on the road and you got a reputation, and you had clubs that you worked at, and you were on their roster, and you came around once a year or 18 months, and that's how it worked. And now it's way different than that. You know, now when I talk to a comedian who's up and coming, I have to go look at their social media following. I have to see what kind of followers they have, because that's one of the main things that's going to put millennial and Gen Z butts in the seats at my comedy club.
That's true.
So, you know, like, I'm a Gen Xer, right? So for us, we want the live experience.
Yeah.
Like my phone stays in my pocket most of the time when I'm at a show. It doesn't even really come out if I'm at a show, and I want to see it. I mean, I tell people it's one of the things with the younger generations that I kind of feel bad for them about is like, I've been to 1,000 concerts because I was in radio forever. A concert is certainly an experience, right? And for me, I'm not saying I won't take my phone out of my pocket and grab maybe a video clip of something that I like, or a cool part of the light show, or take some pictures, you know, but I'll take it out and do that and then put it back in my pocket, because I'm here to like
be
see
in the moment
show and live in the moment. So I feel bad for them sometimes, because a lot of them are like, they got to see it through the screen, and it's like, what are you doing? You're never gonna
Right.
You know, but I understand that I was raised in a different world, you know, than they were raised in, you know, and so, but I think part of it is with comedy, and I think that's part of what's good about the comedy club is there's really not time to have your phone out.
No, I mean, most of the time you're not allowed, right? It's like, don't pick
I mean, we'd rather you didn't.
Yeah.
You know, like
exactly.
you shouldn't have to. You should be entertained.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
like so. But yeah, that's the comedy club, and that's why we do that. And it's me and my husband who run the comedy club, and we have a really small staff.
That's dope.
It's been a really difficult time for admission business the last couple of years. You know, there's a lot of big places in Seattle that are having trouble, like Teatro Zanzani just closed, which is a huge like Seattle institution.
I didn't even know that. Okay.
Here in late January, they closed. You know, the Crocodile closed their 2 smaller rooms, and now they've got the whole places in receivership, which is a form of bankruptcy. So, you know, and business is down. You know, it's hard. So, you know, if you're out there and you're listening to this and you want admission style businesses to be around theaters, small businesses like my comedy club, you got to come out.
You gotta
Show up.
And most of the businesses that I know, even the other comedy clubs in Seattle and Tacoma, are really doing everything they can right now to make it affordable to come and hang out and laugh for a couple hours.
Right.
You know, because people jokingly talk a lot about how, well, laughter is the best medicine. It really is.
No,
you know,
it
it
is,
really, when you come to Club Comedy Seattle, when you come and hang out for a show with us, it's a dark room.
Yeah, right.
It is, but I like the lighting in there.
And it's
that was
focused,
good lighting.
and you're focused on the show. And,
Yes.
and believe me, if you think you're going to come out and have comedians talk about politics right now, rarely.
Right.
I mean, rarely. And if they do, it has to be so clever and work, and that you'll love it, because nobody wants to talk about that right now.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, it's not funny.
I think people also, it's like almost they don't realize that a lot of these clubs have shows every night, and a lot of them are really affordable. You really just have a small door charge, couple items off the menu, and you get to sit there and just take it all in and enjoy.
Well, and
it
there
for
can
an
be
hour
like,
or two.
I mean, because I come from like the amateur environment of running Jai Tai, we have really well attended open mics on Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Nice.
You know, we have a really amateur bucket mic on Tuesdays where you just come in and put your name in the bucket. And then Wednesday's more of a curated like open mic where it's more of the people who work at the club who come in and do their new stuff on Wednesdays. I mean, we do have newbies on that night too, but it's mostly people who work there. But those are fun nights too, and we have regular audience who come just for that. Because those nights are just $7 nights, and I mean, like on Wednesday, you get 30 comics, and on Wednesday, you get 30 comics that work at the club regularly.
Right.
So sure, they're working on new stuff, but it's not going to be a 20-minute stream of people who don't know what they're doing. It's going to be one person after another who really probably does know what they're doing.
Right.
And it's fun. People like that fast, unproven, like people like that. And there's failure at that one too. A lot more failure. I mean, not that there isn't failure sometimes at a show, but at the open mic, there's failure.
Yeah.
And people like that actually. You know, they do. That's that whole, you know, Schadenfreude, like, you know, I enjoy watching it. So they enjoy that part of it as well. So those are fun nights as well. And then we do another cheap night called Freeform $10 comedy that we've been doing since the economy, like this whole year. Because the economy's just been so, like, getting people to come out and spend money has been difficult. So we put together a nice showcase for $10. So that's pretty, I mean, in today's world, that's a cheap ticket.
Yeah, it is.
Exactly.
So, I mean, you can't see a movie for less than $20.
Exactly.
So, and this is live entertainment with real people right in front of you, hopefully making you laugh.
It's different every time too. It's different every time.
You're not going to get the same experience.
It's not the same thing over and over. Do you have kind of a set of rules at all at your club? Because like some clubs, they'll be like, you got to be PG-13.
Some clubs have what they call a standard code of conduct. I'm pretty old school, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I'm not like, I'm a queer person, right? And I'm in my late 50s. So while I am a white person who walks through the world in white privilege, and I understand that, I'm also a queer person who has lost my job before because they found out I was a queer person.
Right.
So I understand discrimination. So I get that we live in a world where we don't want to punch down at people that are below where we are. And I don't want that to happen on my stage. And that's where I draw the line. So what I tell comics is, no, I don't have a standard code of conduct, because a standard code of conduct would require me to decide what you should say and what you should think is funny and what the audience should think is funny. Right. And I'm not the audience's director as the booker of the club and the owner of the club. I'm the audience's representative. And so I don't tell them what is funny, and I don't tell the comedians what is funny. What I tell the comedians is, you are an adult.
There you go.
And you should act like it. And if you're acting like an adult and you're being a professional, then you understand that jokes that punch down from where you are inappropriate on my stage. So, but outside of that, it's
like
not,
that.
it's just not up to me to arbitrate what's funny and what's not. That's that's crazy.
Right.
I mean, for one thing, I don't really represent the audience in my club, to be honest with you. I'm 20 years older than the average audience member who's in my club.
Okay.
So it's not about what I think is funny. It's about what they think is funny. Yeah. And so, and I don't purport to tell anybody that any subject is off limits. I'm sorry, anything can be made funny.
Right.
Right. That's my firm belief in comedy and in the art. That's the art of what we do.
Right.
Is that anything can be made funny.
Right.
So, and Seattle's a pretty difficult place with regard to what you're talking about, like that kind of political correctness. I don't want to see things that are a trigger for me or upsetting for me, and people don't. And I'm with them. Like even as a Gen Xer, I mean, I think a lot of people who I work with who are younger than me probably see me as a person who's like, well, Rick's pretty old, so he's probably out of touch. And I'm really not. Right. I don't think those are the most important things in comedy. I think funny over everything. There's a big, at the club, there's two door walls on either end of the big performance room that we work in. And at one end is my desk where I have all the like AV equipment and that stuff. Okay. And on one of the posts of that wall, there's a big sticker that says, funny over everything.
There you go.
Because that is the core belief of our comedy club. Funny over everything. Funny matters more than anything else about you as a comedian.
Right.
Funny is the most important thing. And when it comes to telling people what they should or shouldn't do, funny over everything. I'm sorry, if you can take an inappropriate subject and you can make a crowd of people laugh at it in Seattle on Capitol Hill, then why should I stop you from doing that?
Right.
So, and some people don't like that policy. Some people want to have a room where they feel safer, where they want to tell people, hey, these are kind of off limits. And I'm not against those kind of rooms. Yeah. I don't run that kind of room. Okay. And I would never run a room that I would call safe for one reason and one reason only. Okay. I'm a comedian and I don't think comedy is safe. And I don't think it's meant to be safe. And I think it's meant to make you uncomfortable. And I think it's meant to make you think. So there you go. That's just, but those are personal beliefs. So, I don't punch down in my act. Right. I'm a comedian. I get it. I have to do those things too. Right. Yeah. I mean, it's Seattle. So a good thing I tell people about it is, hey man, I own the club, right? And I go on stage there. Right. And I'm a gay guy who's in my 50s. Right. And I want to use the F word on that stage. Right. I do. But you know what they don't like in my room in Seattle on Capitol Hill? That word, even if it's coming out of my mouth. Right. And I want to own that word. I've been called that word in a derogatory way so many times. I want to own it. Right. But you know what? They don't like it there. Yeah. So I don't do it because that's part of developing yourself as a professional comedian is understanding, hey, I'm in this environment and this works, or I'm in this environment and this doesn't work. True. The reason it was easy to come see you guys today is because I live in Tacoma. I don't live in Seattle. So when I'm in Tacoma, when I've done dates in Tacoma, I can break that word right out. Right. Yeah. They love it. They roll off the chairs in Tacoma. Because
it is very different in Tacoma versus Seattle.
Very much more. And I'm from Portland. So people, when we lived up in Seattle for a long time. When we moved down to Tacoma, people are like, why are you guys doing that? You're moving to the suburbs? Are you going to be, it's like, well, first off, we both grew up in the suburbs of Portland. And secondly, people like to say that Portland and Seattle are alike, which I highly disagree with in every way.
I don't think so.
But Tacoma and Portland are much more alike.
Okay.
Portland is a much more down-home, blue-collar type of town like Tacoma is. Yeah. Okay. You know what I mean? I get that. I mean, Portland's not as diverse as Tacoma is. Right. Yeah. But still, it's a much more it's just much more down-to-earth, blue-collar kind of place like where I'm from. Yeah. So we love Tacoma. I love Tacoma. Yeah. But when I'm in Tacoma, I can play differently than I can do. And some comics, a lot of comics would complain about that. Like there's a lot of comics who don't really want to come and hang out at our room. They don't do well. they have a difficult time because they don't want to adjust. You know, like, well, it's that Seattle audience. And I'm like, well, we don't really blame the audience.
Right.
Isn't your job as a comedian to reach the crowd and make them laugh? And
Read
if you
the
don't do
room.
that, that's cool.
Yeah.
Right. But if you're planning to even go past Seattle, you have to be able to adjust. You have to
Well, and
be
the thing
able to
is that one thing that's really helped me, I mean, I'm really lucky because I grew up in Portland, but I was the last kid at home. I'm the baby in my family.
Okay.
And my dad had a federal job that he needed to go get his retirement for. And when I was in between my 8th grade and freshman year in high school, that job moved to Fort Worth, Texas. And we had to move there with it. Because you don't give up your retirement, your federal retirement when you're 5 years away from it. So I had to move to Texas when I was 14 from Oregon. And it was like moving back in time 15
You're like,
years.
what?
But I'm glad I did it because it taught me a lot of things about our country and about how we have all these different cultures in our country and all these different people, and there are different points of view that you may or may not be aware of or agree with, or so I have kind of a different perspective about that. And the reason that's good is because it taught me to speak fluent redneck. So when I first started doing comedy here, I'd go out to the east side of the state here and people would be like, doesn't that scare you? Because, back in 2010, when I started doing comedy, things weren't as open as they are now.
Right.
I mean, things are pretty but I'm also I'm a pretty unapologetic queer. Like, I don't really care what you think, to be honest with you. That's just the way it is. It's not everything about me.
Right.
So they're like, doesn't it scare you to go out to Waller? Yeah, come on. I'm like, nah.
I've been in Texas.
One, I speak fluent redneck.
I can relate.
And two, I'm really not that different than other people.
Right. Exactly.
And once they find that out,
exactly.
I mean, I think that's the thing about a lot of the political environment in our country now. We just don't ever listen to other people or sit down and talk to people that are different from us.
Exactly.
And really hear them.
Right.
And whether we agree with them or not, it's okay to disagree with people, but
Exactly.
it doesn't mean you have to disrespect them, and it doesn't mean you can't hear their opinion.
Exactly.
And take it as genuine and be respectful. So I think that's a lot of it. So but that's the thing about Seattle is Seattle's hard. Seattle's a hard town to do comedy in.
Right.
They have to have what I call a laugh leader, right? Somebody in the crowd has to laugh to let everybody know that it's all right
it's
to
okay,
laugh.
yes.
I mean, not to show you guys came to a show where Trenton was there, and a lot of the crowd was there to see Trenton, so it was a lot more people who were more open.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the example I give people about that is I like doing comedy in Seattle because it's very difficult in a lot of ways. You have to you can't get out of the box of what they want.
Gotcha.
But honing your skills there, man, when I do go out somewhere else, there's nowhere else I can't make it work.
It's easy.
Right.
If I can make it work in Seattle where they want a finite, where they want a specific thing, then when I'm in Walla Walla, it's great. They don't care about that.
Right.
You could do, so I think you want to hone yourself in the harder place. I think you want to hone yourself in the place where it's
That's a good strategy.
more difficult.
Yeah.
Because comedy is a journey. Comedy's not comedy's a path, a journey. It's not, you're never there.
Right.
Nobody arrives in comedy.
You're always working.
And for many people,
strategizing.
comedy isn't the end result. I mean, comedy is the path to somewhere else for a lot of folks.
True.
I mean, for some people it is the end result.
Right.
But
Yeah.
for a lot of people, it's the path for how they get to movies or television or
That's true. That's true.
social media, or how they get from social media to, doing comedy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the world's changed a lot in comedy, but
That's cool.
it doesn't mean we don't need comedy, and it's just the way we consume it.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
So what was that moment that got you into comedy? What was that moment that you're like, you know what? I'm gonna give this a try.
I mean, I've always I tell people when I was on the radio and I would be on a morning show, if you guys have listened to a radio morning show, you understand that, and when I say this, you'll get it. The goal of anybody sitting in any seat on a radio morning show is to get the out. Okay. And by get the out, what I mean is you want to say the last funny thing before the commercial plays or before the sweeper plays or before the music. You want to say the last funny thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's always how my brain has worked. Okay. I'm going to say the last funny thing kind of guy.
Okay.
And so my brain really works like that, and it always has. But for a long time, and I've always loved stand-up comedy, but I never thought that my way of like thinking or talking or what I did for a living was really a path, or that it translated to getting on stage and telling jokes.
Right.
You know? And so, I for a long time, I mean, I never even considered doing comedy. And then, back in 2007 or 8, one of the stations here that I worked for changed formats and became Movin' 92.5, which you know of them. And the first big morning show that they put on was an all-woman morning show. And one of the women who was on, and I was actually on that show because they had an all-woman show, they built what they called the panel of men. And they took 3 of us that worked there. Okay. And so I was the gay guy, and there was a guy who was married with a wife, a more conservative guy, and a guy who was young and single. Okay. And so we would come in 2 or 3 days a week for an hour and take calls and be on the show and give the man perspective on the women's show.
Right. Okay.
And so I got to work with her a lot, and her husband happened to be a stand-up comedian. And she was doing stand-up comedy at the time too. And they're both, I mean, he still does stand-up comedy, but she's not doing that. She's like a Food Network chef now. So
what? Okay.
Yeah. And so, but we hung out with them a lot. Okay. And so one time when I was like, for months, like she's like, you have to get up and do stand-up.
Okay.
She's like, you are a stand-up comedian. You don't even know it. And I'm like, no, I don't. Like, I'm not like, no. So, but then finally, on their back porch one night, her husband and I were smoking a joint. And I said something, and he laughed and turned to me, and he goes, you should do it.
Hey.
And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, you should do it. He's like, you could do it. He's like, you could be good at it. And so that was good because I was connected.
Yeah.
And so it was easy for me to decide I was going to do it. And I took about a month to like do some writing because I knew a lot of people start without knowing anything they have to do. But I'm not like, again, I was 41.
Right.
So I wasn't like, I knew I'm like, okay, I got to have some jokes. Like, so the first time I went up was at Comedy Underground. I'm a Comedy Underground comedian in Seattle. If you've ever heard of that, if you're a comedian listening and you're, over 30 years old in this town, you've heard of Comedy Underground. That's where I started. I did my first open mic there, and I killed at my first open mic, which is a huge mistake. Because then after that, God, you just get kicked in the nuts every time, like, for a long time, And so, yeah, that was it wasn't the easiest thing, but it was good and it was fun and I liked it. And it's very, like, one thing I tell people is what you don't realize about the comedians that you see is it's a drug. There's drugs involved. And I'm not going to go deep into this, but I will say to you guys, when I was 46, I had a VFib heart attack and I had open heart surgery. And before that, I'd always told people, I've done every drug, but I've never tried heroin. But I don't tell people that anymore because after I had my heart surgery, I had open heart surgery, I had Dilaudid IV and a catheter IV in my neck. Man. So not only have I had the heroin, I've had the best, cleanest heroin, a milligram every hour. So I've done the heroin and it's pretty dandy. But the thing about drugs is the best drug is still adrenaline.
Yeah.
Followed closely, I think, by dopamine.
Right.
And when you see a comedian get up on stage and they kill and everybody laughs at them and it goes really, really well, they're getting a huge burst of both of those drugs to the point where if you do really well, it's oftentimes hard to get to sleep. It's hard to wind down.
Right.
Because it went so well and it's so much fun. Right. So there's a part of it that's very addictive.
Right.
In that way, and that's what it is.
Yeah, like, and you're chasing that.
It's hard. I mean, think about when people laugh at you. Think about when you say something funny and people laugh at you. Okay, now you've got a room full of 300 people in a theater that are all looking at you under lights, and they're doing that same thing.
Yeah.
Powerful.
Holy crap.
And it's not for everybody. I mean, come on. The scariest thing in our society is standing up and talking in front of people.
Yeah.
So, but it is a fun, I mean, I like it.
Yeah.
It's great. I like it. To me, I came from a theater background. I always wanted to be on the radio, so I did that, and I got to do that, and that was exciting, and I liked it.
Yeah.
But this is the most individual sport I've ever played. Like radio, I was on morning shows, and I was in a room with other people, and I mean, a lot of times I was in a room by myself, but it was, you were on a team, but this is not this is you, and you're on stage, and there's no other actors, and there's
Right.
no, a lot of people think that stand-up comics have kind of an elitist attitude of comedy. Like a lot of and I think some stand-up comics do. They think they're better than improvers or sketchers or drag queens or other forms of comedy. And I don't agree with that at all. We're just the most individual ones. I'm not an improv. I can't turn to you and go, and
Right, exactly, and feed off that.
I can't turn to anybody and do that. It's me. And if I'm up there, it's going how it's going for me. And if it's going to change, it's going to change because of me.
Right.
So it's, but it only makes sense that that's how stand-up comedy is, because the people who do it like have to have an amount of narcissism and an amount of ego to do it.
True.
And when you say those words, people get upset. Like a long time ago, I had an amateur comedian get like, I'm not a narcissist. And I was like, okay, well, let me ask you something. I was like, you showed up here at my open mic. Did you think you were going to go up on the stage in front of the 70 people that are here and tell jokes and have them laugh at you? And they were like, yeah. And I'm like, that is textbook narcissism, bro.
Right, yeah. Right.
Look that shit up. Right. So you have to have, both of those things are bad. We associate those words with bad things, but they're not.
Exactly.
There are some people those are required skills. You can't. There's no way you can have the confidence to get on stage and think you're going to make people laugh if you don't have just a touch of narcissism. You got to have some of it. You just got to keep it in check.
Yeah.
Because I think there are some qualities where we talk about them always as toxic.
Yes.
Even though there are some toxic elements of narcissism where people are toxic narcissists and people who just need a little bit of narcissism to,
Right.
you have to think you can.
Yeah, right.
And
you gotta have that belief.
that doesn't come from any logical place.
Right? Exactly. That's true. Man.
That's funny.
I was gonna say, what is something? Because you come from both sides of the business. Is there something either way? Is there something that fans of comedy would just be shocked by that happens like in this world of comedy?
Well, I think the main thing that people don't see like deep in comedy, like fans of comedy don't see deep in comedy, is that whatever comedian you like, whatever comedian you see that makes you laugh, whatever comedian you see at my club that makes you laugh, me, all of us, comedy does not come from a good place, y'all. Sorry to be the one to break that to you. I know it's more of a positive vibe podcast, but the reality of comedy is comedy does not come from a good place. Comedy does not come from sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. Comedy comes from struggle in your life, whatever that is. So whoever you're seeing, I'm not saying they don't have it together now, and I'm not saying, they're these horrible, depressed people. I mean, some of them are. But I'm just saying that you see them on stage and they're making you laugh, but that doesn't necessarily come from a good place. But know that it's very cathartic for them to be able to do that. I would say comedy's very therapeutic. It's not therapy. I mean, don't get me wrong. We've all been in an open mic with the dude who's just telling some shitty story that nobody cares about, and you're like, bro, this isn't therapy. But it is therapeutic. And that I think that's part of it. And I think comedy is defensive in a lot of ways. And so I think a lot of us got to be funny as more of a defense mechanism. I mean, for me, always, from the time I was a kid until now, I don't like it when strangers talk to me.
Sorry.
No. I mean, I'm okay with it. Here's the thing. People talk about generational, right? And no matter what generation you're in, the message was don't talk to strangers.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a Gen Xer, right? So nobody gave a shit about us, but they did tell us not to talk to strangers, right? So when a stranger talks to me, I just want to go, what are you doing? I don't even own that kind of van. Shut the fuck up. Right? But the thing is that I realized that, that quality that makes strangers talk to me in public, that is because I'm not threatening. I'm not a person who people feel like they can talk to. And I always disliked that quality about myself until I started doing comedy. Once I started doing comedy, I realized, oh, wow, there's this human thing where if you don't like somebody, they're not funny. People are like, that's not true. I'm like, yes, it is. Think of somebody you don't like, that a bunch of people like. They all think that person's funny. But you don't, because if you don't like somebody, they're not funny. And so that quality in me, that where people want to talk to me, it's great when I get up on stage because all I have to do is not fuck it up. They already like me. They are that quality where I'm not threatening.
Right.
Like I don't have to overcome, that at first. Yeah. And so that helps me. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know how to screw it up. I know how to make them hate me right away. Like 3 sentences or less.
Like I got the triggers.
But I can decide to do that or not, and so, but that's one of the things about it is you have to be likable, and comedy is, the difficult thing about comedy for comedians is comedy is the journey to the center of yourself.
Interesting. That's deep.
The best stand-up comedians, you know why you like Trenton? I can tell you exactly why you like Trenton. Yeah. Because Trenton is real.
Yeah.
When he gets up there and he talks about the things he talks about, when he talks about his daughter.
Yeah.
When he talks about, you're scaring the hose in the park.
Right.
Like, that's real.
Yeah.
And that's exactly who he is. Yeah. And having a conversation with him is much like, not as rehearsed and well done as him being on stage. I mean, he's amazing.
Right.
But I'm just saying, that's who he is.
Exactly.
Right.
And the best comedians that you love, that's who they are.
Right. Off the stage, they're a good person. You can have just a one-on-one, straight-up conversation with them.
They are who they, and so that's part of the journey. Yeah. And I think those are the best comedians. So that's, there are a lot of aspects of it that are odd that the audience doesn't see. And I think those are a couple of them. One is it doesn't come from a good place. Right. And 2, really the best people are the people who are the most real, the people who you're going to talk to after the show and go, wow, they're just like they were on stage.
Right.
That's
why we're always curious about like what gets people in. 'Cause we know, like you said, a lot of it is from a dark place. So it's always intriguing on, how that comes about, especially like we love the fact that comedy happens in so many forms at so many different ages and places in people's lives.
Some people start super young in their 20s. Some people are starting in their 40s. Well, and it can make 50s.
All of those are weird places to start because I tell people, look, for all the kids who come up now, who come to my club, who are like 22 or 23, they're in a weird position because they don't have any life experience. Right. They don't have anything to talk about.
Right.
But they're easily able to relate to the crowd that comes more so than, say, somebody who's older, like 45 or over.
Right.
Now, the thing about the 45 or over person is they're going to have to learn to talk to a crowd that's younger than them because on average, they're going to be younger. Right. And you can't make references. I can't make references that people my age are going to get when 80% of the crowd are people that are 20 years younger than me.
Right.
So, but the advantage I have at that age is I have plenty of life experience. I have plenty of shit that's happened to me to talk about. I have 1,000 stories that I can turn into jokes. So it's balance. It's like anything else. There's a balance. Like everywhere you start, anywhere you start has its own unique like advantages and challenges, but there are advantages and there are challenges. So I agree with you. People start at weird places, but it depends on where you are. And it's a development process. I mean, I tell people comedy is not a sprint. It is a marathon.
Right.
And everybody's on their own path, and it's going to take you the time it takes you to move forward.
With saying that, do you feel like a lot of new comedians come in thinking, especially with having social media, that things are going to happen fast?
I think some of them do. Yeah, I think some of them for sure do. Yeah. I don't think they realize all the work that they're going to have to do.
Gotcha.
Like the overall work, because again, there's not like a syllabus, where it's like, this is what you got to do.
Right.
Everybody's on their own path, and you got to make your own way. So I think if you're not self-motivated, and you haven't like, I came up in radio, you guys. Like I had an idea of what I might need to do, mostly because in radio, you get fucking fired from every job you ever had. Every job in radio I've ever had, I got fired from. Not because of anything I did either, just because that is the nature of the business.
Right.
And so, I laugh at comedians. We have comedians who run the buckets on Tuesday. Okay. Like they run the bucket, they make the list. Right. And so they're the people you have to schmooze, not me. Right. And so, but one of our hosts, the bucket form that you fill out asks you for your name, and then it has a question on it. Okay. That says, why should the bucket favor you? Oh. And so this particular, there's like 5 or 6 hosts that do it, regulars. I have regular hosts. Okay. But one of them is like, their requirement is that, 1, you answer that question on the form.
Fair enough.
And 2, you introduce yourself if I don't know who you are. And comics will get pissed off about that. And like, they'll come to me and go, well, why is it like that? Why did they get to set the policy? I'm like, well, first off, it's their list.
Right.
And I am not a control freak.
Right.
So when I tell you it's your list, it's your list. You make the list. I'm not going to tell you how to run your list. It's fine.
Yeah.
Right.
All the people who work for me understand the kind of show I want to put on.
Right.
So I don't worry about it. I let them run the list.
Right.
And secondly, those two things that you're being asked to do, that's just good sense.
Right.
That
It's not
person's trying to
hard.
teach you an important lesson about open mics. You want to get on the mic, answer the question on the form. Doesn't have to be, it could be a serious answer, could be a joke, could be nothing. Just answer the damn question.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you go to an open mic for the first time where you don't know the host or you don't know the person that runs the mic, well, introduce yourself, dipshit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Would you walk into somebody's house that you don't know for a party or whatever and not introduce yourself? I'm just going to come here and make myself at home, but I don't know who you are.
Right.
But you better treat me like a good host.
Well, that's the thing. Like, comics will ask me, like, well, when you were coming up, how'd you get on shows? And I'm like, well, if you were a producer who ran a show that I wanted to get on and I wasn't getting an invite from you, I would come to your show and see your show.
Right. Right.
And a lot of times, just that alone would get me an invite to do the show. Oh, hey, Rick. Sometimes that night. Oh, hey, Rick, I got an open spot. You want to do 10 minutes? But other than that, it always gave me a chance to go talk to the person that ran the show and go, hey, I really like your show. What could I do to get an invite to be on the show?
Right.
You know? And I mean, you got to ask. You got to, but you got to be able to back it up too. You got to be good, but you got to be able to ask. You got to be humble. Like, so there's a lot of that comes back to keeping the ego and the narcissism in check. You know, just don't be too big for your britches. Just be, I mean, even now, like I run a club, right? And so, I mean, if I see, if I want to be on somebody's show, I go ask. Yeah. Hey, is there a chance you'd give me a spot on that show? Like, just be humble about it.
Yeah.
They'll do it or they won't. Like, you know, but ask. Like, so I think there's some things where a lot of comics come into it and sometimes they don't understand the work they have to do and they don't understand the value of relationships. It's not all about relationships for sure. I mean, in my club,
It helps.
in my club, it's more about merit, what you can do.
Yeah.
But we also can't have a bad relationship.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to, I have to want to spend the weekend with you because I'm there all the time.
Right.
Like, after this today, I'm headed there.
Yes.
Right.
And when you come work there, you're working with me.
Yeah.
Right.
And so you can't be an asshole to me.
Well, it's got to feel like that's your house. You know what I mean? Like,
It
they're
is.
coming into your house, your space. So
I like to look at it differently, though.
Okay.
For the comics who work there, it's their house.
Okay. I like that.
It's not just my house. I'm a comic. Don't get me,
That grin up.
That great.
don't get me wrong. It's my house, too.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yes.
work there as a comedian, and it is my house.
Yeah.
Right.
And don't get me wrong.
Like, it's the Airbnb.
if you do something I
this
don't like,
weekend.
you'll find out it's
Right.
my house.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's their house.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
And it is there. I want it. Like, a thing about some clubs is some clubs want you to be loyal to them.
Yeah.
I want you to work for me. It's like,
Yeah,
I
it's
don't.
just my club. Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. I tell comics, no. I don't believe in that at all. That is not good for you as an artist.
Right.
As a comic, you need to go play every room that you possibly can. Loyalty to one room or the other doesn't work. When
Right.
you get to be a headliner, well, then we'll have to discuss some exclusivity because at the headliner level,
Right.
you don't want to be headlining somebody that the club across town is going to headline 3 months from now.
Gotcha.
That doesn't work for you or the comic or the other club.
Gotcha.
So, but you do, but I do want to be the club that they like. I want to be their home club. I want them to like it and enjoy it and be there. But I don't want their loyalty. That's not good for them.
Yeah.
You know, that's not good for them. You know, and I'm in a weird spot. That's the other weird spot about running the club is I'm in a weird spot as a comedian because I am certainly not one of the guys. I mean, I seem like it, and I am a comedian like them, but I'm not one of the guys. I'm in
Because you're the owner.
a huge position of power over them as a booker. And so but I understand that. And it's not like you can't take advantage of that. And you got to but again, when it's a meritocracy, none of that shit really matters.
Gotcha.
I'm not hiring my friends. I'm hiring the people that are best at the job in front of the crowd. Again, I'm the advocate for the crowd.
Awesome.
And that's what I think the booker really is. That's the real job to look at I have a good idea of who the crowd is that comes into my room. And I have a good idea of who to put on in front of them. that's going to be successful for them and for the person who's doing it.
Right.
Because you want your comics to be successful too.
Yes.
I don't want to put the wrong comics up.
Right.
Exactly.
For the comics.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, so.
Right.
And all around, even bringing the wrong comics up, then people are going to have that kind of idea of, oh, you know, that place is a dud. Let's not go there, you know.
It's what I tell comics about, in general, about what we do is, while it is an individual sport, and while we are not dependent on each other as a team, there is something that people who produce shows should agree on and do. And this is what it is. Anytime you invite people to a stand-up comedy show, some of them haven't been before, and you're teaching them that this is what the art is.
Gotcha. Okay.
And if you're putting up horrible people who don't do well in a horrible environment, that's what you're teaching them.
Right.
Yep.
So let's all try to uphold a certain standard of quality and teach the audience what good stand-up comedy is.
That's good.
So they can go see good stand-up comedy, enjoy themselves, and have high expectations for what a fun art form stand-up comedy is wherever they go and see it. So I do try to, I do think we owe each other that as producers and as gatekeepers of our art form.
Yep.
Like, try to put the best people on stage. Try to actually put on a quality show.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, because you're teaching people what this art form is. It's not an art form that everybody goes to every day.
True.
It's not an art form where everybody's been there like a movie or a play.
Yeah.
It's something different. A lot of people haven't been. Let's not teach them that it's, you know, these shitty, you know, smart mouth white guy, you know.
Yeah.
Right. True.
Yeah.
Make them want to come back.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, I've been to a comedy show. I'll pass. You guys just
I've been to a comedy show. 3 guys said retard. So that's
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's definitely, you know, I mean, and there's a whole side of comedy that is that now.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a whole side of comedy that is nothing but that kind of comedy. Like, I'm going to just insult people and see how, you know, which to me is the shocking 16-year-old boy in everybody.
Right.
I mean, that is when a lot of guys, when they start in their 20s, and a lot of young guys will start with it, and you'll see them do stuff that's shocking. Like, you'll see them up there and they're just trying to shock people. And it's like, yeah, that's not really the perspective you want to take in writing.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. I've definitely seen those.
But I like shocking stuff. I know.
We can tell.
We know.
Yeah. Doesn't seem like that's going to give you longevity, though.
Well, the thing is that it's a writing perspective. So it comes from a lot of people, when they first start, they try to write from the perspective of, hey, what do I think these people are going to like? But that isn't what it's about. That isn't the job. The job of a comic is, my job as a comic is, I go out into the world and I live my life. Like, you go out in the world and you live your life. And you know what? We all live in the same world. And what I do is I bring observations about that world that I think are funny back to the stage in a way that lets you laugh at them because of why I think they're funny. That's the job. So that's the real crux of what we do. And so I don't look at it from the perspective of, hey, what can I do on stage that the audience is going to think is funny? I go at it from, hey, what do I think is funny? And why do I think it's funny? And how can I best convey that to the audience so they can see it through my eyes and laugh at it in the way that I think it's funny? To me, I'm an interpreter of what's going on in our world around us. And that's why you laugh, because it's going on around you too. You know, it's something I say a lot, which is one of my favorite things to do on stage is to call back to something a comic did before me, or somebody did something earlier in the show, or if sometimes a showcase where you have 8 or 10 comics will actually kind of develop a little theme along the way. And I like those because it humanizes the art form in this way. As humans, we really like a thing I call, I saw that too.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so I really like that part of it. And it's like a good example of that is, used to be, not anymore, but maybe 5 or 6 or 10 years ago, if you had somebody coming to your room and you ran a clip of them online, they'd go, oh, don't do that. You're burning my joke.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, listen, let me tell you something about that. First off, get your ego in check. How many followers do you think you have?
Right.
Do you have 80 million followers? You don't? Then I am not burning your joke.
Right, exactly.
Secondly, I'm not burning your joke at all, because this is how human beings work. If that's the ad they saw, if that's the promo they saw that brought them to the club with that joke on it, when they get to the club and they're sitting in the crowd and you're rolling through your act and you get to that joke, if that's why they came, they're going to turn to the person next to them and go, this is the one.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Because that's what humans do.
Yes.
They're humans like you. They do what you do. And so you can't have a twisted view of them and what they like.
Right.
They want to hear things over and over again. Does the radio play a song one time and go, well, there's the new hit?
Not at all.
Oh, they play it 63 times a week.
Stop playing my song. You're burning it out.
Yeah, I mean, literally. Right. I mean, pop stations at these days, pop stations play 70 plus spins a week on their top, like their 3 top records.
Yeah.
70 times a week. There are only so many hours in a week.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, literally, like when I was on the air in Portland, I was on the alternative station, right? And so alternative stations back in the 90s, we broke records, which means we play all the new records first. And we played the new records, the top 3 songs we were playing every week, 63 times a week. There are 7 days in a week. That is 9 times in every 24 hours. Okay, there's the math.
Right.
Were you dreaming
Pop
those
station,
songs?
the pop station down. Ugh, don't even get me started.
Having nightmares about
That one Everclear song. Ugh. But down the street, the pop station, the station that was playing Britney Spears and boy bands in the 90s, they were playing their top 3 or top 3 to 5 songs 78 times a week. So another 16 times a week more than what, 15 or 16 times more a week than what we were playing. So people like repetitiveness because the other thing people don't realize about the radio is just too repetitive. It's like, well, you listen too much. They're looking at how long people listen and they're doing those spins based on, they're trying to catch people with the newest stuff that they want to hear.
Right.
So you're listening wrong. I'm what? Okay.
Right. So what's happening? You play this radio station at work all day. You're going to hear this.
Yeah. You for sure are. Yeah. I don't know why they played that song. They play all these artists I like, but they play this one artist I don't like. It's like, okay, so you like classic rock, but you don't like Aerosmith. Right. Shut the fuck up. Classic rock's going to play Aerosmith.
Exactly.
You know? Like, I don't like that Spin Doctors song. I hate the Spin Doctors. I've always hated the Spin Doctors. Shitty group from the 90s. Right. You can't get away from that shit. Every fucking radio. Warm 106.9 plays that shit. You can't get away from the goddamn Spin Doctors. You don't hear me bitching.
Right.
Whatever. I just changed the station to something else.
Exactly.
No, exactly. At all.
2 Princes, my ass. Get the fuck out of here. So, yeah.
Oh, man. Well, this is, man, you've given, it's so cool because, we're fans of comedy.
Big fans.
But you've given us such a different perspective, which I really appreciate.
Right. I feel like you should teach a class.
Yeah, I was like,
not that you can teach comedy, but, just kind of the etiquette and
kind of save those things for mentoring. Like, I kind of have a group that I have a good group of comedians at the club that I'm pretty tight with.
Yeah. Okay.
And so, as opposed to teaching a class, I more, and I think that mentoring, I use that word because a lot of people are like, oh, you're a good coach or you're a good teacher. And I'm like, no. Coaching and teaching are very different from mentoring.
Right.
Okay. Mm-hmm. A coach or a teacher, and I'm not dissing coaching and teaching, and I'm not saying I don't do some of that.
Right.
But a coach is somebody who tells you what to do.
Yeah.
And a teacher is someone who tells you how to do it.
Right.
That's not what a mentor does. What a mentor does is says, hey, listen, I see you and I see you wanting to be successful at the thing I have a lot of experience at. So what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to make my experience available to you whenever you need it. That's what a mentor does.
More advice than
more somebody you fall back on.
Yeah.
Somebody you can have a discussion with about something.
Right.
Somebody who can give you advice. I'm not saying I don't give them advice. I do. Right. I've been doing comedy for 15 years.
Right.
But somebody who's there to answer the question you need answered when you need it answered.
Gotcha.
Not somebody who chooses your path, not somebody who tells you where to go,
right?
But somebody who tells you how to get there. So mentoring is a different thing, and I do a lot of that, and I do have a lot of people that I work with on that because I appreciate them, and they're this is what I tell people about that. Here's the most rewarding part of what I do. I get to give an artist the chance to rise to the occasion. And then I get to watch them do that.
Right.
Like, if you don't think that's exciting for me, you're wrong.
Right.
The first time that dude who's been coming to your club and doing good for a while gets up on stage and really kills it for 10 or 15 minutes, that's so nice.
Yeah.
You know, it's so nice to see people achieve their goals.
Right.
It's so like, I'm into that. So I really like watching other people do well. Yeah. I don't feel threatened by that. I don't feel competitive with them about that as a comedian.
Right.
I want to help them do that and get better at it because it's good for them. And frankly, it's good for me to have a good group of comedians that are comfortable in my room that came up in that environment. Yeah. So I like that part of it. Mentoring is an important part of it. And it is a different, and like I said, I think fans don't really realize there's all these deep like layers and levels of what we do. And,
where it all comes from.
We kind of sit around as comics sometimes. Like this last Thursday, we sat around and just like 4 or 5 of us and just sat around and talked about jokes and other comedians and the crowd and so I think there can be good community in it for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And we try to build that. But it is nice to come and talk to civilians. Sometimes that's the phrase we use. People who are smart enough not to get involved in comedy. That is why we call them that. I mean, that's what I'll say that to comics a lot. Like when I first get to know them or they're first starting, like I'll say to them a lot, I'm like, if they're good, generally what I'll say to them is, hey, listen, you've decided to do comedy. So let's just accept that you make poor decisions. But now that you're here, you're probably not going to get away from it.
Right.
So lean in.
There you go.
Do the work. Lean in. Have a time. Have a good time.
Right.
Do what you can to make it work for you because it is a worthwhile hobby. It is a worthwhile career. Yeah. It is a worthwhile endeavor.
Right.
The crowd appreciates it.
We do.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, you dropped, I don't know how many gyms. Gym after gym, but right now, what do you want to say about your club, yourself, anything? This is your moment.
I just want to encourage people to like this, there's a lot of strife in our world right now, a lot of strife that we're seeing, and it's coming at us fast.
Yeah.
And no matter what side of anything that you're on, like go see a comedy show. Go see a comedy show in your town. Come see a comedy show at my club. It's intimate. Yep. It's beautiful. We have booze.
Always helps.
We try to create a good vibe.
Yeah.
And I think that the escape factor right now for stand-up comedy is so great. Yeah. You can literally come and get away for a couple hours.
Exactly.
When you guys came to see Trenton in my club, I guarantee you didn't think about anything shitty going on in the world for a couple of hours.
Exactly.
And it's a huge relief. It really is. And it is for us too. I mean, the comedy club is backbreaking work. Yeah. Of which I do most of. Like I work 80 to 90 hours a week at the comedy club. But I am there. I get to enjoy the show. Last night at our early show, we had a great crowd. They had such a good time. It was a fantastic lineup. Yeah. So you get to enjoy that. I get to enjoy that escape all the time. And it's affordable wherever you go. Comedy's affordable right now. And it's a personal live entertainment experience in a way that most things aren't. Yeah. So come see us. Yeah. You'll be surprised at how relatable it is and how much you like it. Yeah. And how you walk away from it feeling better than you did when you arrived, because dopamine and adrenaline go both ways.
Yep.
Making the laughs makes it happen. Having the laughs makes it happen. Yep. So come and see us.
Exactly.
Go see a comedy show. Follow a local comedian. When you go see the comedy show, if you see somebody you like, ask them for their Instagram, y'all.
Yes,
we need followers. It's a free thing that fans can do for the comedians that you like. Yep. Follow this podcast. Yeah. You guys are comedian fans, so you talk about comedians. Yeah. So do those things. Follow people. We need followers. We need an audience. And we love the audience, and we're really good to them.
Exactly.
Regulars are the best.
And that's how you go. That's how you go down some of the greatest rabbit holes. You connect with one, and you see someone else, and you just keep going. And I'm always surprised because I talk to people a lot, and they'll be like, "I've never been to a show." I'm like, "You got it. You got it." And it's that reason you speak of. You can go in feeling bad or have some awful experience. You're not going to come out with that same feeling. You're just not.
Well, you're not. And another point I'd like to make is a lot of people these days, because we have social media, There is a lot of stand-up out there. There are a lot of stand-up clips out there, and there's a lot of crowd work clips. Yeah. And like in our room, like you guys, our room is super intimate, right? Mm-hmm. So we seat from the middle and the front, back and out. Mm-hmm. So when you come, we want you to, the best seats, I'm sorry, but the best seat in the house is closest to the action. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's a small stage in a room with a lot of tables for us. But one of the things the crowds were, are they going to talk to me? It's like, for the most part, no.
Most of them not. Yeah, most of them are not.
Most of them are not. Like, I'm not like, I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't do crowd, but I don't really do crowd work.
Right.
I didn't write these jokes to have a chat with you.
Right. Exactly.
So I'm not that kind of comp. Some are, but but if they do, they'll be nice to you.
Exactly.
They want it to be funny. It's not funny when you're not being nice to people.
Right. Exactly.
You know, and so, but people, they see what they see online. What they don't, the point I'm making is what they don't realize is the live experience is a completely different, unique experience from those clips that you see.
Yes.
Being in the room, the energy that's in the room and the people that are in the room, it's very different. Yeah. And, you know, and they're like, well, what if they talk to me? And I always tell, like, sometimes I have to seat people. And so if I see people and they ask me, what if they talk to me? I'm like, I'll give you a foolproof way to get them to not talk to you. And they're like, what's that? And I'm like, if anyone says anything to you from that stage, I'm like, don't say a word.
Yeah, they'll move on quickly.
They're like, what? And I'm like, don't say a word. Exactly. I'm like, you can't talk back to silence.
Exactly. They'll move on.
I had one woman who was like, she came up to me after, she's like, you were right. And I was like, yeah, I know. Right? I just spent a lot of time studying how humans work.
Right. Exactly.
That's funny.
That's it. Because I mean, when people say, "Oh, I prefer live music," I'm like, same with comedy. I mean, go experience it.
It's so much different than seeing it online or even on TV. Like the specials. Like while the specials, you know, they can be really funny. It's so different in person.
I think there's a base thing that people don't think about. I think from the audience perspective, they think, "Oh, comedy, I'm going to go and laugh if I think it's funny." I don't think they realize that. What they're really going to experience is an exchange of energy between the person that's on stage and the people that are in the crowd. Yeah. And there's no clip and there's nothing you can hold in your hand that is ever going to replace that feeling where somebody says something in a room full of people and everybody in that room full of people laughs at the same time. Because they can all relate to it. Exactly. There's just the special is good because you see other people doing that and you might be laughing at the same time, but you're not enjoying the energy of the room. You're not enjoying the vibe. Yep. There's a vibe. And you just can't get it anywhere except at the live show. Exactly. Comedy was meant to be live.
Exactly.
Meant to be between the comic and the crowd and the energy between them rolling back and forth. And that's also when it works best. The next time you guys are at a comedy show, you're actually going to think about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're going to be like, wow, this really is an energy exchange.
Exactly.
Shit, that guy wasn't as high as I thought he was.
Exactly. So,
oh, that's awesome.
No,
this has been
great. And we
definitely really fun hanging out.
Definitely
really
appreciate
you
us. Appreciate you giving us your time.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So just want to say thank you for that.
Absolutely. Thanks for letting me promote the club. Come see us. Club Comedy Seattle on Capitol Hill.
Yeah.
Thanks for providing a platform for local comedians too. Like, that's awesome.
They do the hard work.
There's a lot of good ones out there, and I think people are sleeping on some.
There are. We have a really good scene. We have a really good scene, both in Seattle and down in Tacoma. Like, we have a really good scene with really good, diverse comedians. Like comedians that you want to hear. Comedians where you're going to go, wow, this is fun and unique, and I like it. And you just got to go find it. And I'm telling you, Seattle's a real DIY comedy town. So there aren't just shows that happen, I mean, at my club, but there are a lot of like good bar shows that happen and theater shows that happen, like in smaller spaces and at breweries. And there's, you know, the secret shows like Don't Tell that happen. Like there's a lot of good comedy in this town. Seek it out. It's affordable entertainment that you'll be really glad that you're enjoying.
Exactly.
So you heard it here.
Yep.
Club Comedy Seattle.
Yep.
Be there.
See us. Thanks so much for having me on, you guys.
Yeah, thank you.